4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey guys, Ranch here bringing us off commentary. This is going to be the third set in the Winners League 2010 semifinals between MBCGame HERO and the Woongjin Stars. MBCGame HERO 2-0 ahead. Light picking off 2 wins, 2 away from an all-kill, and now is going to be facing off against Free of the Woongjin Stars. So this is going to be on match point. We are going to have Light at the upper right-hand corner as the orange Terran. At the lower left-hand corner, we're going to have the teal protoss Free, a.k.a. Pretty, because he's so pretty. You guys go and debate that one amongst yourselves. But this is going to be on match point, and wow. So far, 2 great games, 2, well, not really, I wouldn't say extremely surprising wins. There's a cake. I think somebody's birthday is today, but anyway. Not really surprising wins, but at the same time, kind of like very nice to see Light getting 2-0 ahead. Obviously still on a very hot streak so far, but I think this is the best shot right here for Woongjin to end that, and they really have to. Free, I think, is their best opportunity to bring an end to Light's so far rampage. For one thing, Light is a very good TVZ player. His TVP not as good. He tends to falter a bit more often in that, and despite the fact that PVT is also not Free's best matchup, he's still very good at it. And also, this map is very Protoss favored against Terran. Overall, they've been played well over 100 games on this map, and Protoss have almost a 60% advantage. Because, yeah, they tend to hold resources easier than Terrans, I feel. Also, Arbiter play can be very effective on this map. Carriers, not as much. There is some space for them, but I still feel there are far too much open ground for Goliaths to be effective, for carriers to be as big a factor as Arbiters can be. Arbiters, however, can be very effective on this game. Recalls could be extremely deadly, especially at that 6 and 12 o'clock occasions. When those start getting into play, Arbiters become very deadly. But we're going to see what this does get to the point where Arbiters get into the game and become insane. And I got to talk a little bit about Free, because about a year back, after... Yeah, I think about more than a year back, actually. I believe it was after the Club Day, sometime after the Club Day MSL, where Bisu got his 3rd gold. Talking about that right now. Free getting a probe scout in there and can be forced back by a single marine for now. Has a 1 Rax build coming up. It's very simple builds overall from both players. Very standard. 1 Zealot on the opposite side for Free. Going to try to prevent that CV from giving in, but still going to play the good run-in back and just get through that. If I made a bad football quote there, I apologize. I've watched a few games of football. I know the rules of the game and such, but all the positions I sometimes forget and stuff like that happens, so I do apologize. 1 gate into range going to be up there for Free, so he's most likely going to go into get his robotic facility going, then go for an expansion. The opposite side, I'm expecting pretty much the same thing from Light. I'm expecting him to get his initial factory out there, maybe push with a tank and 5-6 marines, and as he does so, put down his own expansion. First Dragoon now out for Free, so he's going to try to put on some pressure as the machine shop's coming up. But yeah, Free's been kind of a revelation a little bit lately, because sometime after the MBC game, I'm sorry, the club. What was I talking about? The Club Day MSL in 08, in late 2008. Somehow, after an early 2009, he's really just started falling off and not playing nearly as well. And what really kind of saved his team at the time was not resurgence, but just Zero coming out of nowhere. They're sitting there right now. The Queen of Queens, as he's come to be known now, just coming out of nowhere and becoming their new ace. But Free was their ace for a very long time, alongside GG Play during his good years during 2007, 2008, or earlier 2008. But kind of Zero has taken GG Play's mantle now and then some, really become the ace of the squad. Free, however, really played very well this season so far. Played very well in the Winners League. Played pretty well in the Pro League rounds as well. So I'm really looking forward to see overall how he managed to do it and how he managed to improve. Losing his probe scout there, but at the very least he spotted that tank, spotted the Marines, spotted the expansion coming along as well. So he's going to be able to put down his own expansion without too much trouble. Let's get back into the game a little bit. Robotics facility is going to be coming up now for free just as that Nexus starts to warp in completely. On the opposite side, we see a Vulture out there, and we see mines being upgraded before range. So he's going to use those mines for defensive purposes. Meanwhile, Free's going to, he should be able to prevent that SCV from getting by with 2 Dragoons. That's going to be fairly easy, very simple. 4 Dragoons out there with range. So almost with range, I'm sorry. So that's going to give him a pretty good starting troop to fight back anything that Light might decide to throw at him. He does have some Marines, but it's still, and some of those mines also might become a important factor. But we're gonna see what Light goes for. He's, instead of putting down second factory, actually gonna go for a starport. So he might be going for some Vulture drops. And I really like this. Is something Light really tends to go for against pretty much everybody. Of course, you do that overall against Terrans. You go for drops. That's what you do in a TVT. But his versus Zerg play also very much centered around harassing the Zergs with dropship play, basically keeping a large army, but at the same time sending out a small contingent of it to harass the Zerg player. And for now he's playing very defensively despite the starport coming up and that control tower on the way. Wondering whether he's just going to go straight to, just not exactly know. Yeah, he is producing a Wraith, actually, I believe. Might be a dropship. Yeah, I'm sorry, producing a dropship most likely. What I'm talking about. Wraith would be kind of weird at this point, but producing a dropship, so he's going to try to go most likely for a 4 Vulture drop. Not really sure if any of those Vultures will have mines. Maybe one of them still has some mines out there, so he's more planning on just trying to go out there and do some damage. Also, a science facility up, very, very early science facility up for him. So just wondering what kind of build he's trying to go for here. Whether his early science vessel is kind of strange in a TVP, I would say. You don't really need them that early, but he's definitely going to be able to go for upgrades very quickly. But he doesn't have any armories up yet, so overall I'm not quite sure what he's going to try to go for with that. Go for something funky, ghosts or something. I'm not really quite sure. First initial dropship now out for Light, so we're going to see whether he managed to get anything done with his drop. Not quite sure if he got spotted by the observer or not, but he's going to try to go for the drop. Our pylons are ready for free. Free knows drops are going to be coming. He's going to spot the dropship coming down with a pylon. 4 Dragoons running right in there, not managed to pick up dropship running away fast enough, but one of the Vultures barely going to get by those Dragoons. Going to try to run inside of the natural expansion, pick off at least one single probe before he dies. 1 probe goes down. We're going to see what he managed to get to. Going to manage to get 2 probes. Meanwhile, he does a secondary drop when then more Vultures come inside on the main. I think he managed to pick off a few probes in there as well. Still at the natural expansion, picking off several probes. So at the very least, I'm not quite sure if he lost his dropship eventually or not with that second drop. He might have done though, but still managed to pick up almost a double digit of probes, and that's very effective for him there. Meanwhile, Free's going to get the Observer Scout right inside of Light's base as he puts down 2 additional factories. He's going to continue his mecha up. Wraith also up for him now, so he might be having that Wraith out there just for one thing to try to spot that Observer if he has scans out, and also just in case there's going to be some Reaver play. Might have been expecting that. Citadel Dune up, and already a Stargate out for him, so I'm wondering whether he's going to try to rush to Arbiters. He has Mineral picking up his Mineral only. Kind of confusing these strategies these guys are for. Okay, very fast science vessels. Very, very fast science vessels. I'm wondering whether that's simply to go observer hunting or not. He's probably going to rush to EMP, so he might be trying to put on some pressure very early with his tanks and medic marines because he's going to try to go for EMP. He's going to also be able to clear out all those observers. That might be part of it. I don't think I've ever actually seen this strategy utilized, what Light's going for here. Going for very early science vessels. He's going to start off by just hunting down those observers. Observers, of course, with no speed upgrade. They're just going to manage to get, not going to manage to pick off that second observer simply because of those Dragoons in the area, but still fairly viable strategy. And also, if he manages to get EMP out very soon, he's going to find himself being able to do a lot of damage to those ground forces. Of course, taking all those shields down, very critical. Cannon's not being put up by Free. I want to be very careful to not make sure he doesn't get dropped again, but he also has an Arbiter Tribunal already on the way, so he's going to go for 2 base Arbiter. Well, he's going to have his mineral only up yet soon. He is going to have his mineral only up soon, but at the same time, he's only sitting on 2 gases so far. Sip of water, because you're going to need that in case this turns out to be a freaking macro fest. But let's see, Dragoon's going to come up to the upper left-hand position, spot the Vulture and the cannon and the mine there, try to take it out. And now Dragoons are going to put on some heavy pressure on this mineral only that Light's trying to put up. There's that single SCV that's going to get taken out, so Command Star is going to get delayed until another SCV manages to get down there. But the tanks, at the very least, are going to force all those forces back. Vulture's meanwhile going to try to run by the... he did actually scan the front there, but did not manage to get those Vultures through. Actually surprised him using a scan just to get a couple of Vultures through, but hey, what do I know? Free now going to pick up the third guess, the upper left.